All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And peace, love, and salutations to the Akim that's out there laboring, that's out the hope for elect, that's doing this work and truth and sincerity. And I want to speak about the pretty much the annoying fly in the room, the thorn that's pretty much on our side, and I'm speaking about these misguided and misinformed Christians out there that pretty much speak against this truth. They pretty much are, getting on social media, on their, and they get on their little soapbox and, pretty much spew out their feelings, which is not truth. These people are pretty much offended for the fact that we're standing 10 toes down boldly in the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and proclaiming his words. And pretty much through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, we are commanded to do so. This is our duty, man. The Lord has pretty much woken us up to this truth, and we are to go out there and do the bidding. Okay, we're to pretty much make the bride ready for the bridegroom, man. And we know that this is only for the elect. But along the way, until we get to that point to where the bridegroom makes his glorious return, we have to suffer these people out here, man. And this, pretty much, this is nothing new. This has been going back to the time of when Yahweh Shai pretty much walked the earth. When you had contention, you had pretty much people that were pretty much coming up against the Lord. They didn't believe who he said he was. They pretty much rejected the disciples, the apostles, and ultimately, they pretty much, conspired with the Romans, okay, pretty much to put our Lord to death, man, but pretty much we know that was that was pretty much prophecy, and that had to go down, but the whole fact of the matter is that, our worst enemy is going to be, our own people, man, at the end of the day. They pretty much are going to do the heavy lifting of the bidding to, lead to that persecution, so to speak, but pretty much, the joke is going to be on them, man, because pretty much they're going to be mixed into all of this chaos that they're going to help conjure up, so to speak, But pretty much these Christians are pretty much a motley crew of misfits, a bunch of renegades that are out there trying to render their own personal feelings on what the scriptures say. Here it is, we come out the scriptures, and I'm speaking about men of Great Millstone and affiliated camps, for truth. But, we can speak of all of, the whole Israel that pretty much, goes out there and, does, what, the Lord has prescribed for us to do is to preach, you see. But they're spewing their feelings. There's no, pretty much, they'll tell you what it isn't, but they can't tell you what it is concerning the scriptures. Here it is. We're the ones that go into the scriptures, and now for some miraculous, divine intervention on their part, that they're able now to pretty much break the scriptures down their way, so to speak, or, pretty much, go into the scriptures. You see? Okay, now they're pastors, okay, of these churches. They don't teach the people aright, okay, concerning this truth. We know that's already known already. You know, we already know that these churches have that 501c3 charter, you know, and pretty much is a gag order to not, you know, to separate church and state. So the things that are going on in the earth today, you cannot correlate it and go into the scriptures and line it up. So that's basically the separation of that. You know, Christians are pretty much have totally separated the scriptures from reality, man. Okay? This is why they can't see the elephant in the room, you know? So pretty much now when we come out and do the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Shai with the scriptures, okay, and everything lines up according to prophecy, you know, they can't understand that, man. Okay, because it was not something that they were taught. But somehow, some way, they're pretty much getting on their soapbox and teaching us now, you know. Meanwhile, they're leaders of the people, you know, they pretty much are not, you know, breaking scriptures down or not even speaking about prophecies, man. Okay? But somehow, some way, they know pretty much, you know, they try to debunk what we're saying, you know. But let me get the definition real quick, you know, Salaki for being long-winded, but I really want to set this up. But let's get the definition of Motley Crue, okay? But, you know, and that was pretty much the name of a band, a rock band, you know, heavy metal band back in the 80s, you know. Pretty much definition of Motley Crue is a group of people or things that are diverse, mixed, and often mismatched in some way. It implies a lack of uniformity or organization, and the members of the group may have different backgrounds, appearances, and characteristics. The term can be used to describe a group of individuals from various walks of life or a collection of disparate items, you know. And pretty much, you know, you got your Baptists, and you got your Seventh-day Adventists, you know, your Protestant, and you have all of them, but somehow, some way, you know, they are all, you know, speaking on the same accord, and we know that's not so, because, you know, they have differences in their doctrine, okay? But this is what the Christians are, a bunch of misguided group of people, man, okay? A bunch of renegades out there that had no teacher, okay? But somehow, some way, they want to get on their platform and think that they're all of a sudden teachers now, okay? They're all of a sudden now the vanguard of breaking scriptures down, when they're not even breaking scriptures down. You know, they can continue to tell you what it isn't, but they can't tell you what it is. You see? You know? All right. It says, let's get a little bit more into that. Okay. Help hazard arrangement, and that's pretty much where they are. The phrase suggests a lack of intentional order or structure. The group is assembled in a way that might appear random or even chaotic. And that's what you have what these Christians are doing, okay? When they're pretty much coming up against this truth, man. You know, that's why Paul always spoke about us being on the same page with everything, man. You know, being in the same mind frame, man, and all of us speaking the same thing, man. Okay, you see, you know, these are just a bunch of people that are just coming together, you know, to come up against us. Okay, you know, they have their different doctrines and everything else, and they never agree on anything. There's nothing that they agree on. We know that they are going under the guise of Christianity, man. Okay, and really, their doctrine is a simple doctrine, man. It's a doctrine that's pretty much that goes back to Sunday school, man. Okay, they walking around with a Sunday school doctrine, man. Okay, all right, which is not even holding any weight, man. You know, and they're not really observing the times, man. You know, all right. It says Motley Crue is a informal expression often used to describe a group that is not particularly polished or well organized, and that's what you so-called Christians are, man. You're not polished or well organized with anything that you're doing, okay? All right, concerning this truth. You know that you pretty much have one thing in common, is that you're trying to come up against what we teach, man. Okay, so this is why you have an increase of a number of these people, man, that are coming out the woodwork, man. You know, and they're all a bunch of really lone wolves, so to speak. You know, not taught by anything, by anybody, pretty much. You know, but all of a sudden now they want to call themselves going into the scriptures. You see? But let me pull my first precept. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 3, verse 24. For many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion have overthrown their judgment. Okay? And these people are deceived by their own vain opinion, man. Okay? You see? All right? And the evil suspicion is what? What we're teaching. That's their evil suspicion of what we're teaching, because it's falling on so-called virgin ears. Okay? All right? There's something that they were never taught. You know? But from the apostle and elders on down, through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Abushai, you know, we are that guiding light, man. You see? Okay? But the evil suspicion have overthrown their judgment. So their conscience pretty much is seared with a hot iron, man. Okay? You know? They don't have no understanding of anything that we're bringing out, man, because these people are not taught, they're taught to think carnally, man. Okay? All right? They're pretty much of the world. So this is why the carnalness will pretty much come out. And they don't know how to deal with emotions, man. Okay? All right? Pretty much the nastiness of the scriptures, man, that the apostles always talked about, man. Okay? You see? You know, the scriptures talk about lamentation, mourning, and woe, man. Okay? Everything is not all love. And pretty much, man, when you're trying to follow the guise of what's going on and checking the temperature, what's going on around you, man, somebody who's the leader to try to set forth an example of peace, man. Okay? All right? You know, here it is, you're ignoring the elephant in the room and pretty much the captain of chaos, okay? The master of disaster, Esau himself, okay? The people who you pretty much are still idolize, okay? This man pretty much has gone rogue, man. Okay? He can't even show you any example of peace, man. Okay? But then you want to sit here and cherry pick and pick out what's hate and what ain't hate, man. Okay? All right? What this man is doing in the earth, man, you don't even see that. Okay? All right? All right? All the nations pretty much are seeing this, man. This man's ill doings and misgivings are right now on a world stage right now, man. Okay? You know, we're pretty much, there's pretty much a major media block here, but, you know, there's other avenues, man, to check things out, man. But these people don't want to check things out because they're pretty much so occupied by stuff that doesn't profit them, man. Okay? This is why this man keeps on throwing the kitchen sink at the masses of the people, man. Okay? To get their mind off of looking into things, man. Checking things out, looking under the hood, kicking the tires, so to speak, man. Okay? You know, all right? Question more. Okay? These people have been so primed and conditioned, man, and it's going to be to their own destruction, man. Okay? And I'm speaking about you Jakes out there, man, you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, man, chiefly, man. Okay? All right? Because you people are a bunch of lost souls, man, and you don't know what the hell is going on out here, man. Okay? You see? It says, verse 25, without eyes, thou shalt want light. Profess not the knowledge, therefore, that thou hast not. You know? And that's what you have to do, man. You know? You have to profess not the knowledge that you have not. You know? Okay? You know, because you Christians are really pretty much are just driven off emotions, are just winging it, man. You know? And then some of you pretty much go into these high-end type of presentations, and, you know, you got your little music in the background, and you think you're confounding somebody, man. Okay? You know? All right? The blind leading the blind, y'all shall all fall into the ditch, man. Okay? On your little cheerleading section that you do have, that, you know, of followers, man. You know? Okay? Because it's so far-fetched from what you've been taught, man. And what you've been taught and what you've been walking around and learning is not profiting you in any kind of way, man. Things are not even getting any better for you. Okay? You don't feel the spiritual liberty, so to speak, man, that the men of the Lord have, man. Okay? That liberty is not there for you people, man. You don't see it, man. You know? The pretty much the noose is getting tighter and tighter around your neck, man. And you people fail to recognize the elephant in the room, man. You see? It says, verse 26, a stubborn heart shall fear evil at the last, and he that loveth danger shall perish therein. You know, and you people pretty much, you love the society, man. As far as what you want to call black culture, man. Okay, you relish in it, man. Okay, you see, all right. You people are not calling out anything that's pretty much damaging to your own pretty much your own community, man. Okay, you know, you people want to sit here and talk about hate speech, man. Well, what about the rap game, man? Okay, all right. Would you people try to incorporate your rap into your churches, man? You see, all right. Yeah, okay. You probably, you do it pretty much on a try to do it with a little bit of a spiritual twist to it, though, man. But the Lord ain't dealing with that, man. Okay, the Lord's not dealing with that. The Lord's not dealing with that type of spirit, man. You see, okay. But you people have a stubborn heart, man, a stubborn mind. Okay, but it's gonna fare evil at the last, man. Okay, you know when you cut through the chase, man, of speaking about what the Lord wants, the Lord is going to kill you people, man, okay, for being so damn ignorant, man. Ignorance is going to get you killed, man, in these last days, man, okay? Refusing to turn back to the Lord in spirit and truth and ultimately repenting, okay, is going to cost you your life, man, okay? Because you people, according to you people, that you people feel like you're saved already, man, okay? And that's not further from the truth, man. Okay, you people will taste that second death, man. Okay, you people don't understand the whole concept of what salvation is at the end of the day. Okay, all right. The scriptures do say that at the end of the day, all Israel shall be saved, man. But what do you have to do to get to that point, though, man? Okay, a lot of you people are going to have to partake in that second death, man. Okay, and that second death is not going to be a walk in the park for you people, man. Okay, the Lord said, man, they shall know it, death by pain, man. You see, okay, so that's pretty much what's coming down the pipeline for you people, man. And we're seeing how all of these, everything is getting lined up, man. Okay, we see this, we see him coming, man. Okay, we see the adversary coming, man. We're seeing how he's coming. We're seeing how he's going to make his approach, man. Okay? All right? He's pretty much getting all his ducks in a row right now, man. Okay? Meanwhile, while you jakes out there or hey, listen, man, the Lord's going to take away the mirth in the earth, man. The Lord's going to take away the mirth from you jakes out there, man. Okay? You see? Right? It says, an obstinate heart shall be laden with sorrows, and the wicked man shall heap sin upon sin. And that's what you people do, man. Okay? Because why? You people feel like you have the license to continue to do evil, man. Okay? Because you feel like you're covered under the blood of JC, according to what you people say. Okay? But you people have been deceived and misinformed, man. Okay? You see? All right? And that the time of reckoning is coming, man. It's fast approaching, man. Okay? You see? Right? It says, the punishment of the proud, in the punishment of the proud, there is no remedy, for a plant of wickedness have taken root in him. And that's what's happened to you people, man. You people are pretty much, like the elder was talking about, man, in the video. People, these Christians walk around, they're proud and wrong, And that's pretty much what you give off, man. Okay? The pride of you people, man. Okay? You see? All right? You pretty much are thinking that the Lord's dealing with you, man, because like I said, the Lord said, man, you have received benefits in this life, man, but have not known me. Right? Therefore, you shall, pretty much roughly paraphrasing, know that you be suffer death by pain. And just because you people pretty much are living a somewhat comfortable life here in Babylon, okay, and you feel like you're going to church and you're pretty much you pay your tithes and you feel like you're up model citizen, but at the end of the day you continue to eat abominable foods and you're chopping your beard off, okay, smooth face, okay, and doing all types of wickedness, man. Okay, adultery, you see, okay, pretty much, some other type of, unlawful sex acts, man. Okay, that you're pretty much partaking in, man. Okay, you see, that pretty much, man. You people, Jakes, think that you're gonna pretty much are going to you think that you're covered, man. Okay. You see? You people don't understand how the Lord operates, man. Nor you do know, okay, in what fashion the Lord's coming in. And you don't pretty much don't know what he has in store for this place, man. Okay? You see? All right, right now we're in a dire time right now. And you Jakes out there, man, are pretty much are not in that right mind frame, man. Okay? Because of all of the distractions that are here in the earth, okay? You don't even know how to get back to the Lord, man. Okay? To get back to understanding what truth is, man. Okay? We're in a time now where everything has to be questioned, man. Everything, man. Okay? Because why? It's because so many lies are being exposed, man. Okay? So everything else has been a lie and everything else is being found out, man. But somehow, some way, man, what you people are following, you people don't fail to even question that, man. Okay, when you're losing members left and right, man, okay, Christianity is a hell of a drug, man, and it's destroying people's lives, man. Because of the simple fact is that you got so many people now that know that Christianity is BS, But what they end up doing is they throw the whole baby out with the bathwater, man. Okay, so they totally reject all of the scriptures, man. Okay, because you're tying the scriptures into Christianity, man, and it has nothing to do with Christianity, man. You see? Okay, so this is what you have. A lot of people, a lot of Jakes out there, man, that are turning to these different false idols. Okay, becoming atheists. Okay, becoming Satanists. And just being just downright wicked, man. Okay. Right from there, all right. Let's go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me. Okay, let me grab that in the blue letter real quick. Okay, right? All right. I got this in the NET, and it says, Son of man, I appointed you a watchman for the house of Israel. Whenever you hear a word from my mouth, you must give them a warning from me. Okay? You see? Right? Let's get that word, warning. Okay? Because you people out there are you feel some kind of way because of how, it's coming out. They're yelling and always cursing it out, and that's not even the case, man. Okay? People still have the stigma of the so-called 90s style Hebrew Israelites, man. Okay? That's pretty much is what has been seared in people's minds, man. The whole 90s type of thing. When people really think of the Hebrew Israelites, man, a lot of times they'll think of a group that embodied the 90s, and that still holds on to that this day, and that's ISUBK, man. Okay? Those guys have that 90s style and that and what people envision in their minds, man. Okay? Because people, Jakes out there, where a lot of them were introduced to this back in those days, man. Okay? And even when you see a lot of the videos that are circulating around that these people are pretty much referring to, okay, they're referring to that old 90s style, man. Okay? All right? When the scriptures speak about cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet and show my people, their transgressions, man. Okay? Now let's get warned. Okay? All right? Zahar, it says to admonish, right? To warn, teach, shine, send out, light, be shining. And we're also ultimately a light. Okay? All right? Let's get admonished. To warn or reprimand someone firmly, man. Okay? All right? So this truth is not gonna be sugar-coated for you, man. Okay? Because we're in real trying times that's coming, man. Okay? To be taught, to be admonished, to teach, to warn, to shine, to send out light. Okay? And that's pretty much the warning, man. Okay? To pretty much enlighten you, so to speak, man. Okay? You see? But it says, right? When I say to the wicked, you will certainly die, and you do not warn him, you do not speak out to warn the wicked and to turn from his wicked deed and wicked lifestyle so that he may live. That wicked person shall die for his iniquity, but I will hold you accountable for his death, man. Okay, so we're held in account, man, for you people, man. We have to give warning, man. Okay? And that's just the whole fact of the matter, man. Okay? All right? You people have no delight in this truth, man. And that's all what it all boils down to, man. Okay? You people you feel like you have everything all figured out, man. And that's far from the truth, man. Okay? You see? But pretty much I don't want to make this video too long, and pretty much I'm going to break this video up. I want to pretty much hit on a few more topics in my next video. All right, speaking pretty much to the same thing, man, because we're seeing a lot of pushback, man, and we're seeing more and more people that are pretty much offended with this truth and are speaking out, man. But you see how the Lord has these people's hearts be revealed, man. So we're seeing more and uptick more, and people really coming up against this truth, man. Okay. And hey, it's gonna be great judgment for you people, man. Okay. All right. So pretty much I'm gonna end it there. And I'm gonna pretty much speak about this topic in another video, but pretty much deep dive into it more, man. Okay, you see, because you have to understand the characteristics of our Lord, man, and these people are pretty much only given one characteristic of the Lord, man, and that's love. You see, okay, but the Lord has always dealt with us in a certain manner that you Christians fail to realize, man. Pretty much. So I'm going to end it there, and I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rukakwadash, Shalom.